It's WPSD Local 6 Legal Line today on midday, and our guests are Mark Bryant, Emily Roark of the Bryant Law Center here in Paducah, and we're discussing something that you've probably heard of in the news over the last few weeks, few months, and that is a pending lawsuit with 3M, the manufacturers of some defective military-grade earplugs. And Mark, if you can, just to briefly explain the basics of this pending litigation.
Okay, we have been all over the country working on 3M cases, and it's cases where soldiers, people in the military were using defective earplugs, and they didn't know it, and the United States government didn't know it, and so we have filed lawsuits against 3M Corporation, who are the providers of the defective earplugs, and a lot of people in the military ended up getting tinnitus or having hearing loss as a result of it, and we're filing the lawsuits. The fact that we're filing them, we're not filing against the government at all, and so the government does have no problem, including people that are already receiving disability payments. It will not affect them whatsoever, but we are suing a huge multinational corporation for doing that, and we will be successful in it.
Okay, we do have a question already, and this person wants to know, do I have to have both hearing loss and tinnitus to be a part of this lawsuit? Emily, what do you think?
No, you do not. That's a good question too, because that goes back to what do you have to be part of this lawsuit? And you either have to have hearing loss from the earplugs and have to be in the military from 2003 to 2015 and have hearing loss or tinnitus. You can either have both or you can have one or the other, but you do not have to have both. So if you have one of those two, get a hold of us because you are definitely qualified for this lawsuit.
If you have questions regarding this pending litigation, you can call the attorneys here at 1-888-208-6946. And we do have another question from a gentleman that says, I use the 3M earplugs, but I mostly use them as a mechanic while working on heavy machinery for the military. Would I still qualify if I have hearing loss?
Yes, sir. You are certainly qualified as long as you use those earplugs and it was a noisy situation and you have hearing loss. And the other key to it is you must have been in the military any time between 2003 and 2015. You don't have to have been there the entire time, just any time while you were in the military. You use those dual-headed earplugs by 3M, and you know those because one end is yellow and the other is olive drab.
And just a quick follow-up to that. We have gotten some calls from people that have used those earplugs that weren't in the military, but were in loud situations, like maybe they were firefighters and they were working overseas but not in the military. If that was you, give us a call because you're probably going to qualify for this lawsuit.
One final quick question that we have, and evidently this gentleman's been following this case because he knows that the case is being handled in Florida. Will he have to travel to Florida for this case?
You want me to go ahead?
Probably not. We can't guarantee you that you won't have to travel to Florida. At some point, there will be trials set, and if you're one of the people that are chosen to be part of that trial, you may have to go to Florida for depositions and that sort of thing. But that will be maybe 6 of maybe 1 million people. So it's very unlikely you'll have to travel, but we can't guarantee you that you won't have to travel. Do you have anything else follow up on that?
No, except to say that we've got people all over the country that we're representing in these cases. I mean, California, Florida, Kentucky, Arkansas, Tennessee, and so we welcome the phone calls because we really are. We want to help, and we like handling this case.
Okay, we do have other pending litigation cases we'll be talking about on our next segment of Legal Line. That comes up here in just a few minutes.